Getting rid of the GST on new home builds will stimulate 30,000 additional homes built every single year, which incidentally will actually generate more income tax revenue for the government without raising rates.
That sounds like a win-win. What do you think? Ladies and gents, welcome back. I'm sure every one of you out there listening to this right now pays taxes in some form or another, but many of us have forgotten that precious, precious moment when we first realized that we're going to have to hand over a giant chunk of our earned income over to the government so that they can spend it on frivolous things that we don't get to enjoy well into the future. But hey, we're in luck. We have that moment caught on camera. A mother caught her son playing Monopoly and learning for the first time just what it's like to, well, have to pay taxes.
6. Oh my gosh.
Where's all your money gone, Donnie?
Taxes. 6, 9, 10, 11. Let me fix my houses.
But it's okay. It's part of the game.
No, it's not.
It's not fun. It's not fun to what?
It's the worst part of the game.
It's the worst part of the game, Donnie.
Taxes.
It is the worst part of the game, Donnie, and that's why this is what we've been suffering in Canada, and we've been suffering it to a greater extent every single day as new taxes have been piling on to us, and we're being gaslit and told that these are for our own good, and it's actually making you financially better off. Of course, Justin Trudeau doing exactly that here with this press conference, again reiterating that his carbon tax is so great. Marty up north pointing out, Trudeau, my carbon tax is so amazing. Your family pays $1,750 in extra taxes, and at the end of the year I give you back $1,800. Isn't that fantastic?
The price on pollution was designed to do two things. Both send a clear signal to investors, to companies, to Canadians that it makes good sense to invest in reducing our carbon emissions and saving energy.
All right.
And a price signal is the clearest way of doing that. But the second goal of the price on pollution was to make sure that middle-class families and vulnerable families across the country weren't carrying the brunt of that price on pollution.
Oh, well, the problem is they end up paying the brunt on the price on pollution. If you tax businesses, what do? They carry on that tax in the price in the form of rising prices. That's right. If you pay a tax down the road, down the line of the supply chain of goods and services, those taxes get passed on to the consumer as in higher prices. The business doesn't share the brunt of that. No, it goes downhill, as we all know. That crap rolls downhill, and us consumers at the end of the day are the ones who end up paying all of it. And this is what has been proven time and time again. Now, Pierre has a better idea on this. He's talking about the idea of getting rid of GST on new home purchases, and that's what he was talking about here. Now, in the first segment of this, he was talking about the fact that in Vancouver, it's so ridiculous to buy a home. Homes are so expensive that if you want to live in a home, you basically have to give up on any fun that you have in your life. It needs to sit by the wayside so that you can afford to just pay to live in a house.
Of pre-tax income, meaning if you're in Vancouver today with the average income and you wanted to buy the average home, you'd have to stop paying taxes, stop eating, stop buying clothing, stop driving, stop vacationing, stop all forms of recreation, and it would still take 98% of all the money you had to make that monthly payment.
Wow, that just does sound like such a sweet deal. Of course, that's where we're at. And it's just costing us more and more money every day. But then later in that press conference, he goes on to talk about how taxes are actually a huge portion of new homes that are being built. And just how much money is that costing? Well, again, this is the concept of if a tax is put on a product, then that tax gets rolled down to the consumer. This happens every single time. There's no exception to this rule. If you think there is, leave a comment in the comment section down below. But he goes on to talk more about this, and here he is.
In Ontario today, 1/3 of the cost of every new home is direct taxes. That does not include the indirect taxes of, for example, income tax on construction workers and businesses, or all the paperwork and delays and consultants you have to pay just to get the building permits. I'm talking about direct taxes. So let's get this clear. When you buy a new home today, more of the money you spend goes to bureaucrats than goes to the carpenters, electricians, and plumbers who actually build the house. This is insane. The number one cost for a home is government. Government bureaucrats, government taxes, government gatekeepers. 30%, as I said, is taxes, and 39% of all the taxes in a new home are federal taxes, including the GST. The GST, which adds $50,000 to the cost of $1 million home. It's a 5% federal tax. It was supposed to be indexed. You used to have a rebate on the first 450 grand of a new home back when the GST was instituted 3 decades ago. That threshold was supposed to go up every year, but it didn't. And now, good luck trying to get a house for 450 grand. You can't find anything for that after 9 years of Trudeau. So everybody basically is paying GST on their new home. The GST was not meant to apply to the basic necessities of food and housing. That's why the exemption existed in the first place. It is also why today I am announcing that a Pierre Poilievre-led common sense conservative government will axe the sales tax on new homes under $1 million. This will save about $40,000 on a new home of 800 grand. That would mean a savings every year of $2,200 in mortgage payments. Getting rid of the GST on new home builds will stimulate 30,000 additional homes built every single year, which incidentally will actually generate more income tax revenue for the government without raising rates.
That's a great idea. And the reason for that is because there will be more business happening. And this is something that's been lacking in Canada. If you look at Better Dwelling reporting on this, just today, Canada adding 50,000 people, but no new businesses. Hey, what do you know? Canadian households have been even less confident about the future of the economy than we think. Stats Canada data shows active businesses were unchanged in July. In fact, despite a booming population, the country has seen no growth in the number of businesses that operate with businesses continuing to close at a faster rate than those opening. The problem may intensify as the global economy weakens, and that's where we're at. Now, it's just crazy. This is a crazy concept, but hey, perhaps if we taxed the things that people want to buy less, the prices might come down a little bit, and then the businesses could operate. And we're talking about, your 3-letter businesses. We're talking about construction crews, construction companies, people that are building homes. It's all slowing down at a time that we need more houses. It really is crazy. And it has to do with a massive tax burden and also regulatory burdens that these businesses have to deal with. So this idea of axing the sales tax on homes is actually a perfect stimulus. Is a perfect, easy stimulus. And especially when it's aimed at homes under $1 million, what it means is anytime you construction crew budgets for a home over the price of $1 million, they're no longer exempt from the GST. That would be a massive loss for them. So of course they would keep the homes smaller, keep the homes we're not building mansions. We're not building, your billionaires' mansions on this scheme. You'd be building average person's homes. This is to assume that you don't live in the Vancouver region. I don't know how this will help that when the price of the land might cost you more than $1 million. We'll see how that works out and how Poilievre government would do that. But I think this is a step in the right direction. And I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. Do you think that this is a good idea to get rid of sales taxes? I mean, I believe that getting rid of taxes just generally is a good idea. And this is the way we should be moving forward. We've all, maybe you've heard of the Laffer curve. The idea of the Laffer curve is that as you tax people more, you end up getting less tax revenue into, well, what do we need tax revenue to do? Well, moving forward in the future, we're going to have to pay back all of the debt that is accrued under Justin Trudeau. It's not going to be forgiven when Justin Trudeau goes away. This is going to have to be paid. So we're going to have to figure out ways to get more tax revenue. Well, it turns out there's a great way to do that. Reduce taxes. More business occurs and more tax revenue is brought into the government. But I'd love to hear what you have to think on this. Please leave a comment in the comment section down below. And of course, we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.